And the way I always think of it is going any kind of purchase where your finance is, I'm getting what I want, and some person, sorry to say, your wife that just pays sticker price, you'll get your money from them.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the Biker Protocol channel. My name is Hollywood with Black Patch MC here in Las Vegas, and I am here with the wonderful...
I am Picasso with the Eagle Riders MC here in Las Vegas.
So this topic is about Harley ripping people off if they haven't been doing that for the last 100 years. No. Go ahead. I'll let you go.
No, it's all right, right?
I do.
Honestly, it's no different than every motorcycle sales place, every auto dealership. It's nothing really unique, but
yeah.
But I'll tell the story. So one of the channels, one of the many ones I watch, and I was up late at night and I was falling down the YouTube rabbit hole, right? And I stumbled on this video. It was a channel that I watch, and the name of the channel.
Wait.
Oh yeah.
Are we going to say the channel?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
The channel's name is Flying Wheels.
Right.
We're going to link to his video in the description anyway. So,
yeah.
But it was an interesting video. That basically the short of it is this guy has a channel and he has a small auto deal, used car lot in I think in New Hampshire. And so he talks about all things about cars. He's a car nut and everything, and it's an interesting little channel for what it is, right? But he had a really interesting video that caught my attention. And essentially it was his grandfather just bought and his grandfather's 85 years old. He's in his 80s and has been riding Harleys since the days of yore, right? He's been riding Harleys for decades and decades and decades. Has been a Sturgis like a billion.
And he was like 80 or 85.
85.
Yeah, which is crazy.
So he's been riding bikes since probably before we were born. And so what had happened was, multiple generations of riding bikes. He had kind of like a lot of people do, nothing unique. He kind of aged out of riding two wheels, but he still wants to ride. So he'd made the decision to buy a trike, right? And this happens to a lot of people. It's not uncommon. And he decided, I'm going to change out. I'm going to start riding a trike, right? So he's on two wheels for all his whole life, but now he's switching out to a trike. So he goes to his local Harley dealership and was looking for a new bike. And he wanted to buy a brand new 2025. He was looking for the model he was looking at it was a Road Glide. It was Road Glide or Street Glide. I think it was Road Glide. It was a RG3. It's a big bike. They're not cheap. And he didn't want like all the little bells and whistles on it, but did want some accessories for it, like a backrest for a passenger backrest, a couple other minor things, right? And so essentially he went in to buy this bike, and he already knew what he wanted. He knew what he wanted to pay for it. He had, like, everything in his mind was already pre-sorted, right? And Harley did everything they could to just stick it to this guy. And it's a crazy story about how and one of the very first things they addressed in this video, and again, we'll post the link to the video we're talking about in the description. But one of the things I thought was most interesting was, and they made a point very early on in the video, is that, for all the years this guy's been buying from this specific dealership, and it's like gone through like 5 owners or something, right, over the years, he's been loyal, right? And he's a loyal customer. And, and you think that if they had half a brain, they wouldn't be nickel and diming everything out of this guy, that they wouldn't be, making ridiculous requests and trying to take advantage of, possibly to a certain degree because of his age, trying to take advantage of that a little bit. Instead, if they had just not done all of these things, the guy would have been happy as a clam and, would have left with a very positive experience and told everybody, all of his friends, hey, listen, if you need to buy a bike, this is the place to go to. This is who you talk to. And they would have multiple loyal customers. But instead, they took a different route.
Loyal Harley, never went Indian, never went anything else. Goes and gets himself an RG3, one of the best bikes, most expensive bikes on the road. And Harley just tried to hammer him over and over and over. Instead of saying, thanks for your loyalty, thanks for your business, let me take care of you on this one, they tried to crush him over and over and over.
The guy goes in, he knew what bike he wanted, and they tried pushing him. He wanted a 2025. And, he didn't want a bike that was sitting on the lot. Now, when I bought my bike, one of the things that this guy was having some issue with was, he didn't want the term that they use, I'm going to look it up here, was a leftover bike. I was fishing in my head for that. So he didn't want a leftover 2024. He wanted a brand new 2025. So I bought a leftover bike. Mine was a leftover. I bought it in 2024 in January, but it's a 2023. They had made a model change. There were some changes to the model bike that I have. but I didn't see the changes as something that I want to pay full price for. They had the bike on the lot that I was absolutely in love with. I love the color scheme. I wanted that specific bike, and it was a 23. So because of that, I was able to negotiate a way big discount on it because I bought it in January 2025. It's a leftover bike. It's been sitting in the dealership for a year, right? And I was willing to take the hit on a little bit of value because it's technically a year-old bike the day, I bought it, right? Even though it was technically brand new, had no miles on it. So I was willing to do that because I like the bike, right? And because of that, I was able to negotiate a much lower price when I purchased it.
I would to interject real quick. I would suggest everyone do that.
Yeah.
There's no reason, unless there's some massive upgrade, there's no reason to buy the newest, brand new bike. You buy the year old. It's not, because even though like you say, it's a year old, but it still has 0
It's very
miles.
minimal.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
like,
minimal in value.
you're not going to lose that much value, and you're going to probably save more value. In the
That's
end.
how I looked at it
Yeah.
too. The amount of money I'm going to save on this bike is worth it for me for the 1 year. Now, Harley did do a change. They did a cosmetic change. They put a bigger screen in. There were some significant changes to the bike, but to me, wasn't that a big a deal. And I liked the paint job on that 24, or the 23 rather. So that's why I made that decision. And I saved a lot of money doing it. And you're right. So that was but for this particular guy, he wanted the newest one. Okay?
Yeah.
So that was his decision.
That's fine. Yeah.
But what they tried doing was they tried slipping in. They made him test drive a 24. They put it on the paperwork. Oh no, you're getting a 24. And he's like, no, I want a 25.
Yeah.
And they tried lying to him. And he was out there checking VIN numbers. And he's like, no, you're selling me a 24 because they look the same.
Yeah.
And he wanted a black bike, simple, So they were lying to him off the bat. Then they lied to him about the financing. They were telling him that, oh no, it's like 12% financing. And he's like, wait a minute, Harley's running an ad right now.
No, I think he was saying they were running for,
was like
if I remember, it was
5.9
like
or
5,
something, right?
but that ended up being 12 or something.
Right. So he's like, how come, wait a minute, I want this, he goes, I have immaculate credit. I have an over 800 credit score. I want this 5.9%. Harley is advertising this.
Yeah.
And the dealer's like, well, we don't really, you have to take a writer's course for that.
Yeah.
Only on certain models. Like, all right. And then the kicker or the other thing was, amongst all these other things, was they tried adding a $12,000 dealer markup, $12,000 on a motorcycle. Now, a number of years ago, when the demand was higher than the supply, especially in the car market, dealers started putting these markup fees because they could, because it was a supply and demand issue, right? More people wanted cars than there were cars to give them. But those days are long gone. And certainly on motorcycles, which, I always tell people all the time, never, first of all, in my opinion, you should never finance a want. Motorcycle is a want, it is not a need. It is, for most people, not a daily driving vehicle. Not for all people, but most people. I don't believe in financing a want. That's just my personal opinion. But the fact is that they were trying to add a dealer markup fee, which was, a lot of money. And they were trying to sneak it in kind of thing. It's because there's a lot of demand for this bike. And this bike have been sitting on, they still have 1-year-old bikes that haven't been selling, right? So it's a blatant lie, and it's been a blatant lie from auto dealerships, motorcycles for years. It is nothing new, but they try to make some extra money on this. And by the way, even on the financing, that's a way dealers make a lot of money is, so a lot of people don't know this. And when you go to negotiate a car, you go in, and it's always best to go if you're a member of a credit union. They oftentimes give you really good rates, or even if you have a good relationship with your bank, get pre-financed for whatever you want to get, and then you just walk in and you're done.
Yeah,
so you know exactly what you're financed for. But what happens is the reason dealers like charging so much more, for the obvious reason they're going to make more money on the interest, is so let's say you come in and they run your credit, and Hollywood's got an 800 credit score, and they come in, they say, okay, we can get you financed, right? And they call their credit supplier, and that company, the bank, whomever, comes back and says, all right, we can finance Hollywood for 6%. So they're going to come back to Hollywood and they're going to say, oh, we got you financed for 9%, or 10%. And what they're going to do is they split that extra percentage with the finance company. So they get extra money. And then the extra money that's added goes to the dealership. They take that. And so everybody's profiting off of you paying a higher interest rate. And so that's why, I always tell people, it's rare when you should ever take the financing from an auto dealership. Now, I bought a car not long ago, brand new, and the interest rate they got me was as good as my credit union. So for simplicity, I took that. But it's rare when that happens. I happen to have very good credit. I'm very fortunate. But the fact of the matter is that they tried to charge him 12% interest, and he had to negotiate that way, way down. But he never got to the 6% that he was happy with. He was very upset about it. And then there was more to the story. They tried adding on extra accessories.
They damaged his bike too.
Yeah. They
trying to fix it when he told them that's not how it is.
Right.
So, what are we getting at here is I hate to go back to it. I was saying that Harley's been ripping people off. I'm not speaking of just Harley.
This happened to go to the Indian.
Yeah, every dealership. has been ripping people off. I mean, we have to be vigilant on our own to do it. Like this guy did, he went back and kept going back and
Right.
And I think he eventually got his deal, but he had to go through all the hassle,
Right.
and his bike got damaged,
Right.
which sucks because now and there was like that one part where you
They
had
had
to
to replace a fender or something.
No, it was like the whole back half
Oh, right,
because it was
yeah.
like a little bit of scratches or paint chips there.
Well, I guess my point is that okay, so before I bought my Harley, I was about to buy an Indian. Okay?
Yeah.
And I saw one online. It was a few-year-old Indian. It had a very rare paint job on it. I fell in love with it, and I wanted to go test ride it, right? So I go down to the Indian dealer, and I was like, hey, I made an appointment. I want to go test ride this bike. Oh, it's kind of a hassle. It's parked between, like, we're moving all the bikes around. It's in the middle of this whole fleet of bikes. Then it was oh, I know you made your appointment at 3 o'clock. We don't do test rides after 2. It was like every
Weird.
excuse possible
Yeah.
to not sell this thing to me.
Yeah.
And I wound up walking away. I was so disgusted I didn't buy the bike. And then I later wound up buying another bike. So it makes no sense why dealers do these kind of things, but they do all the time.
And some quick notes: just go into any kind of dealership, car, motorcycle, whatever, and expect to walk away. Do not think you own that bike. You don't own that bike until you drive it off the lot and you've signed the papers. Just go in knowing I'm not going to buy a bike, and you'll have a better, more pleasant. Oh, I wouldn't say pleasant experience, but more of you will get your deal that you want. Because if you go on going, oh, I really have to have this bike. This is the only bike in the whole world I got to have.
Right.
They're going to rip you off.
So to put this in context, right? When you go to buy a new car, or even a used car from that matter, from a dealer, right? Everything they do, and this is an old sales tactic, and I know because I used to teach sales. Sales are based on emotion and then backed up by logic.
Yeah.
That's what they teach in every sales seminar you'll ever take. It's based on emotion and backed up by logic, okay? So what happens is you go take a car for a test drive. The first thing the guy does, the salesperson, is in the car with you, is a salesperson, right?
Yeah.
And, if it's hot out, they're turning the air conditioning on. They usually will do that before you get in the car. Hey, listen to music, man. What a great sound system this car has, right? Oh, it's so beautiful. Feel the air coming through. It's like great cold AC in the hot, Vegas temperature. In the wintertime, they turn the heater on. So everything they do while you're taking the test drive is emotion. They want to get you emotionally attached to that vehicle. And then they start working on the logic end, and they've even kind of stripped that out. It's no longer a $40,000 car. It's only $400 a month, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they take the pain away. And so motorcycles are even worse because everything about a motorcycle is pure emotional response, right? This is not a need. This is a want. And they know that. And so you're coming in there with the second you walk in that place, they know you want, or, they've got, bullseye painted on you.
Yeah.
So everything you're doing is you're basing this on a want. And the more that they can turn those screws on you, then the want, as long as the want is still there, you'll still buy it. So like you said, you have to be aware to walk out. And that's a great tactic. Guy in my club went and bought a bike and he was not happy with the way he was being treated. He walked out and they literally chased him down the park.
Yeah, they will. Yeah,
they will.
And then that's when you can maybe get your deals, or I don't know if you want to leave and come back because then they know you want it, but that could be your chance. And you kind of mentioned something about when you go buy a bike, we're the Biker Protocol channel, and this isn't necessarily protocol, but maybe there's something we can find into it.
Right.
Is one, I don't think anyone needs the brand new, bike. I personally don't think you need to buy this current year bike with all the bells and whistles, because just like any technology now, it's going to be obsolete in the next year or next month.
Right.
And your value is going to drop in half. Sure, you might have a better speaker in that system, but I personally find a lot of joy in buying a bike that has the minimums and customize it. Instead of spending all that extra money, because there's also a note in that video about accessories. When you buy accessories with them, they try to sell you on, especially Harley, clothes and riding gear and all that.
Yeah, well, it's working in the finance.
Yeah, and then you're paying for that $50 jacket, you're paying $200 in the end for interest,
which is idiotic.
So you buy the bare minimum, and then you go buy what you want, and you save money in the end. It takes a little more time, maybe a little more cash.
And if you can't afford it, then maybe you can't afford that bike.
Yeah,
and that's a reality.
And what I was getting at was, for a protocol kind of aspect, is you had mentioned, like, when you guys have in your club, someone wants to go bike, a few of you go.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing to do, is have someone go with you so they can be a second set of eyes and take your emotion out of it when they see, because they're not attached to that bike, they're not buying it. So they can be like, hey, you don't want this.
Well,
when you start getting all googly eyed.
Here's why we do it. We do it for two reasons. So there's a few of us
to muscle them, right? You want to go there and muscle them.
Well,
in case they sell you a lemon, you can beat them up.
no, that's not what we, no, but we go for a few reasons. So not everybody likes negotiating. I think I'd venture to say the majority of people don't, right?
Yeah.
I love my wife.
It
She is,
sucks, yeah.
she would, to her, buying sticker price is more than fine, right? Whatever it
Yeah.
is, I'm paying. Okay. So that's why I go with her now to buy cars. But some people don't like negotiating. They don't like
Yeah.
sitting down and haggling. They don't like, they just, it's a stress point for them. And they know that. It's a game we all play, right? They're trying to get the most out of us. We're trying to get try to get the most affordable thing, right? So what we do is there's one or two of us in our club, myself being one of them, that is very good at negotiating. So I will go, or one of my other guys will go.
Yeah.
And they're just when it comes time to start talking, they're the ones that are sitting down negotiating, not the guy buying the bike.
Yeah.
The other reason we do it is, so most of us, not all, well, here in Vegas, all the dealerships are owned by the same person. Okay. They just are. It's a weird thing, but all the Harley dealerships are owned by the same guy. So they all talk, they all have the same database. They all know this. But what we do is most of us have, the salesperson that I bought mine from was there for years. He's since left. Nice guy. And I happen to get a very good deal on my bike. When I left with my new bike, I was very happy with the deal I got. But it took a little back and forth. Now, the thing is that we can go into our dealership, and the first thing we do when we start talking numbers with the dealer, it's one of my guys is going to buy a bike, is you see everybody standing here? We have all bought bikes from this dealer. We've spent $200,000+ buying stuff from this dealer.
Yeah.
So the starting point of negotiation is we've been buying bikes and we've been loyal to this dealer for a lot of years. This is where we're going to start cutting deals from.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing how much power that has.
Yeah.
It really is.
I mean, I haven't had that experience just in general because
There's no victory.
Yeah.
No, but when you're buying a Harley.
So they can't rip you off.
Well, but yeah, right. But when you're buying a Harley, that is at least in that point, it's like, if somebody were buying a Suzuki, we wouldn't have that obviously because of the deal. But my point being is that there are ways that as a protocol, as a club, that you can use to kind of negotiate things better when you're buying a motorcycle. And I'm picking on Harley, but I mean, they're all like this. They really are.
Yeah, every dealer, because it's corporations. They want to make money.
Yeah.
And customer service has definitely gone downhill in the last 15, 10, 20 years, whatever.
Absolutely.
So they don't care about the customer. They care about the dollar.
Right.
I mean, those bikes probably cost them 10 grand and then they're selling them for 40 grand.
Well, or even if they really, the model has been for a long time is, for years, they would have MSRP, and your point of negotiation was to get them below that.
Yeah.
Now it's break even to that. But the point is that with when they're selling at MSRP, that's what Harley, that's what Victory, that's what Indian. That's what the dealer is saying. This is what you should be selling this or the manufacturer.
Yeah.
So the issue is that when you start working on MSRP, and you're trying to get to that point, the money is not made from when they sell the bike. Their money is made from when you bring it in for oil changes and service.
Yeah.
Right.
The warranties that they call you for 40 years afterwards.
Correct. Right. That's all true. So, it's I could change the oil on my bike for $100. I got a whole kit on Amazon to change the oil on my bike for $100. Or I can take it to Harley and have them pay $400, and they tighten the screws. And
they pay $400 on the loan. And then that becomes $800 over the term of the loan.
Well, I'm saying even if you didn't.
If you did it separately, yeah.
But you take it in, and it's it's sticker shock every time you got to get the bike service, and they do extra work, and they do. But there's a lot of local shops that are Harley certified that do the same job for half.
Yeah.
But the reason that these giant multi-million-dollar facilities exist is not because they're selling a huge volume of bikes. It's because they have a lot of endless people coming in the service.
Yeah.
And buying t-shirts.
Yeah. Because Harleys, they always leak oil and they break down. That's how they make their money. That's their, I think
they make their money on the $30 coffee mugs and the $40.
That is true. Yeah.
True, right.
Can't deny that. Because I mean, shoot, I once went in there and I was looking at something like glasses or something. It was like $150 for a pair of glasses or something. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
These aren't like Oakleys or Ray-Bans or any of these Gucci.
Yeah.
How are they affording to pay that or charge that?
My favorite things are like the dog bowls and
any kind of accessory.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so like just this gentleman, he did his work and he got his deal, but he had to do the company's work. So I kind of expect that going in any place like that, that I'm going to buy a big purchase, because you're putting your money out.
Yeah.
So if you just put it down and expect them to just give you a deal or do right, no, they're not. I don't care. Honestly, you give your best friend that money, I would hope they would. They probably would do you right, but shit, you're just putting that trust in them for that much money. So like, same with a business. You're going to give them 30, 40 grand or whatever it is for these bikes. And you need to do your due diligence as a consumer and make sure you're not getting ripped off. So like this video.
Financing done in advance, you know what you're going to pay for the bike, all of it.
Yeah, like this video, I saw it more of as a sensationalist type thing where either getting the views, and I get it, and we're kind of doing the same thing by making this video, but you know, the guy at least was smart, and what he did, if you watch, he walked away the first time, and then he went back, and he did his due diligence, and he didn't let him take advantage of it. And you have to expect that going in to buy a bike. They're gonna try to make top dollar, and the way I always think of it is going any kind of purchase where your finance is, I'm getting what I want, and some person, sorry to say, your wife that just pays sticker price, you'll get your money from them.
I do not know an easy way to say this, so I guess I will just say it the slow and painful way. No one pays sticker price.
There's always going to be those people that just get, like you said, just go in, I want the vehicle, I'll pay whatever it is, give it to me.
Yeah.
You'll make your money on them, probably double, triple on them, and that'll be, you know,
It all evens out. Yeah.
It's business, right? You know, you might lose some here, but you make double here, and now it's even. So
there's a lot of great YouTube channels that talk about negotiating on these things, and they all come back to the same thing: is never, because again, it's a give and take, and it's a game, right? They make a move, you make a move. They make a move. So you know, in this game, their whole objective is to get you down to what are you willing to pay per month. That's the trick, right?
Okay, all this you can do. I got something to say.
When your counter to that is, I don't care. Don't worry about what I want to pay per month. I want to worry what the out the door price is. That's the key word. Is what the out the door price. That's what I want, and then we'll figure out all the monthly.
Yeah, because they can take your 40 grand and stretch that to make it $100 a month payment if they wanted to.
Only 8
with
years
interest rates and having term lengths, and then you're still paying a crap ton for that bike.
Right.
But whereas you actually go in and say, well, no, this bike's worth 25 grand. I want it for that. Then, like you said, maybe you just have a bigger monthly payment to get them to. You have to meet in the middle, no matter what. It's fair to say, well, you're going to give me the price I want, I'll give you the monthly payment or the term that you want. You know,
we do 8-year financing on vehicles.
I know, that's
you got to have your head examined.
And then, you know, that 30 grand bike, 8 years, now you're paying 60 grand on that bike.
Right.
It's crazy.
It's just stupid. And yeah, so, and again, like I said, I personally, Picasso's word of advice, don't finance a want. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's hard to say well, I'll say that too. It's hard to say that when these bikes are so expensive and people want to buy them, right?
Right.
But with that said, there's a lot of victories that are, you know, pretty cheap on the market right now. You know, $5 grand, $3 grand. Some
victories
are
really cheap. Yeah.
or just any used bike in general. You know, do your research, make sure it's not gonna be a lemon. Or like we were saying, don't buy the current year, buy the previous year, or hell, buy 2 years past that. They still have inventory most likely.
My Harley that I have now is the only bike I've ever bought brand new. And it was only because I like that model. I've always believed buy bikes that are several years old.
Yeah.
You know,
because
save a lot of money.
Yeah, you're right. It's a want. Like as long as it runs good and it gets most of the mission done.
Go on. It's kind of a joke in our club. Go on to Facebook Marketplace. Go on to OfferUp. Go on to Craigslist. You will see an endless barrage of motorcycles that are 4 or 5 years old with 5,000-6,000 miles on them because people bought them. They put them in the garage. I want to ride a motorcycle. They sit in the garage collecting dust, and then they get tired and their wife yells at them.
And that's your chance.
And
to
that's
make a deal.
your opportunity to get a great.
And you can do like you said, go to separate financing, a credit union, and get a private party loan.
Yeah,
you know?
and it's going to save you a lot of money, especially when they start rolling with 12% interest rates. I mean, that's insane. On a $35,000 bike, that's just absolutely.
Yeah.
I bumped into a guy the other day. It was a hang-around, came with us. Nice guy, bought a brand new Harley, and the bike was beautiful. It was absolutely gorgeous, right? Had every bell. The new screens they have on these bikes, it's pretty sophisticated, right?
It's great and stupid at the same time.
They've gone like gaugeless. I don't know if you've seen it.
I know, I have,
like no gauges on it. But it's a beautiful display. I mean, it really is. It's a very high-tech, you know, look. Not quite my thing, but it is really nice. And, you know, but the guy told me, he's like, he's financing like at some 12-something% interest.
Ooh.
I'm like, oh, God. You know, it's just like, you got a great bike. It's beautiful. Stare at it all day. I'm sure it rides wonderfully.
Yeah.
But a 12% interest rate, you got to be crazy.
But the year before that would ride wonderfully. Because that's what I find. The technology these days, it's not leaps and bounds. It's like little things. Like think of cell phones.
Evolutionary, not revolutionary.
Like cell phones, you know, it used to be like every year was this revolutionary new technology, but now it's like, oh, we upgraded your camera megapixel. Yeah. Is it worth buying the new phone?
Right.
No.
I had to get a new phone because my other one got damaged, and I had whatever model was like 3 years old, and I have the latest, greatest whatever now because I got a good deal on it. Honest to God, I can't tell the difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really, truly cannot tell the difference.
Yep.
So yeah. You know, but regardless of it, so a couple things when getting your bike, right? If you're looking at getting a new bike, find out, get pre-financed, and at least if that's anything, it's going to determine where you know you're going to be at. If you know what the bike's going to cost and you know about where you're at, get pre-financed. Bank, credit union, there's options for that. Do that in advance. When you're talking with a dealer, always talk about not what anything is other than the out the door price. That's the single most important thing you need to worry about, out the door price. The next thing is anything that they do to negotiate, especially with dealer add-on fees or accessories or anything like that, that has to come off.
Like transportation fees. I'll get one that's like,
fees, all that.
I think when I bought my car, it was like a $500 fee for like delivery. And I'm like, well, what are you delivering? I'm picking the car up.
Right.
Take
but
that
to
off.
get it from the dock to the Uber.
No, you pay for that. That's not my responsibility to pay for that.
I went in when I bought my latest car, they had a list. So, you know, it's like it's all the dealer add-ons, right? You know, well, we specially tinted the windows, we did this and that. I said, okay, so here's where we're at, because I know what I'm willing to spend and I know what the car is worth. I said, everything you added on here, I'm going to hand me. I literally did this. I took a Sharpie and I crossed through all of them. I said, all that's coming off the bill. I said, I'm not paying for any of them. And they're like, okay, you know, because they know the days of, you know, supply and demand have changed.
And lastly, like, I know not everyone can work on their bikes or are able or, you know, knowledgeable, but there's a lot to be said about working on your bike. And I'm going to preach it again, the biker protocol culture history. Back in the day, people weren't going to the stores and buying brand new bikes. Those guys were building them from parts they found or from other guys' bikes. And those things were like what basically, it's funny because everyone's those are highly sought after. Those piece junkers that are just chopped together.
These are rat rods and everybody wants one.
You know, and that's, I think there's a book called Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. It's all about that, like, you know, you get your hands into it, there's a kind of a piece to it, just like riding the motorcycle. If you can. Not everyone can, I get that. But you can save money, learn something, and you will appreciate the hell out of that bike. You won't be selling it.
One of the guys in your club, every time I see him, Professor, like his bikes are always like Franken bikes.
Oh, yeah.
And I love him to death. I mean, I've never
probably
seen a motorcycle more character than the things he rides.
Yeah, he's built probably like 100 bikes over his years. He still has a bike he originally built, I don't know what year, 60s or something, and he's built it and he's changed it every 10 years. He's changed it. He still has it. He calls it the dragon bike. It's got this cool leather dragon piece on it, and he's painted it different colors. And he still has a kickstart shovelhead. I think it is a shovelhead.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, and it's cool. It's when he's riding down the road. You get 50 brand new Harleys ride by them. That screw those. You know that thing.
That's true. Yeah, because that's one that has character.
Yeah. So you could be the.
My guy Manny, he used to work on my bikes, wrenching on them, right? This guy was a mechanical genius. And I think he had an 83 Harley and a Kickstarter, you know, and you'd have to sit there and fiddle with it. It was a 10-minute start. If the bike was cold, it took him 10 minutes to get it.
You'd spin around circles.
But
and
the bike photographed really well. And I will tell you, same thing. When he's riding that bike and it's loud and it backfires, but everybo's staring at it, you know? It's kind of like, you know, they make the thing like they have, like the Hellcats are really popular now, right? And it's kind of like, yeah, they're 1,000 horsepower, and yeah, they're really fast off the line, and yeah, all of those things. But when he pulls up next to a guy in a Lamborghini, nobody's looking at the Hellcat. They're all looking at the Lambo. So it's like that, you know.
I don't know. I might go either way. I don't know. Lambos don't really impress me.
Well, the point being is that when we have vehicles of character, right? That's what everybody's.
And then if you're making it your own, that's more important. That's what I can add in the cultural aspect to it, I guess.
So anyways, so if you haven't had a chance, watch the video. It is interesting, and it's a little long, and you know, it's a little not filmed. It's like filming on the guy's phone. It's okay. But the lesson in all this is that it was so frustrating to watch it, knowing that it's like they're just every single step of the way making it difficult. And if they didn't do that, and they just said, okay, here's the price, it's MSRP, we'll take care of everything you need, you know, and they didn't just make it an obnoxious buying process, then he would have been happy and he would have told everybody about, you know, I know we're wrapping up, but I want to mention, years ago, I bought a car. I was like in college at the time. I bought an old Saturn back when they were around, right? And they were a no-nonsense car company. And, you know, they were owned by GM. And their whole thing was, we don't negotiate. The price is the price. This is it. It's just no haggling. And you want to buy this car, there's the price. What color do you want it in? No problem. And then they hand you the keys and you were done.
They're
And
no longer around too.
there, I know, right? Well, I don't know what that says. But the point being is that the experience, regardless of the car company, the experience was great.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to stress about anything. The buying process took an hour. It
Yeah.
wasn't a whole day experience.
Yeah,
And it was easy, you know, and because of that, people were happy and they had a lot of very loyal customers
Yeah.
because of that. So it's like, why do you have to make it so difficult for people when you can make it easy and make everybody love you? Instead, they make it difficult, and then it becomes YouTube videos of why Harley makes bad.
Well, we wouldn't be here to complain about
Right.
it, and what would be the fun in that?
That is true too, I guess. So on that note,
let's end that one. I'm
that
over it. I want to drink.
all right, you want a shot? What are we drinking? I got it. I'll tell you what it is after. Hold on, get the bottle.
I can kind of see it.
This is something extra
Yeah.
today.
Here's to
Smell it.
Harley and
Tell me what
100
it
years
smells
of
like.
ripping people.
Yeah, right. Tell me what you think it smells like.
And smells terrible. I'll tell you that.
Oh, they all smell terrible.
Smells like, wait, is it peanut butters in it, I think?
Nope, no peanut butter.
God, I'm not good at
All right,
smells,
cheers.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh man.
Hold on. Is it like a butterscotch or something?
No,
What is it?
this is. Oh, I'll put it up to the thing. Where's the camera?
It's butter, peanut butter, no?
No, it's dark chocolate banana.
Oh, now I taste it. Yeah,
That
I
kind of-
taste it.
Scatterbrain, dark chocolate.
It's not bad, actually. I don't think it was terrible.
It hits you really weird.
yeah, now I taste it.
Yeah. We've had better. Let me put.
All right, let's get the
All
hell
right,
out
listen,
of
if
here.
you haven't done so yet, please like and subscribe to our channel. It really helps keep us going. We do have some great videos coming up, and if you haven't liked and subscribed, please leave a comment. If you have any questions about anything, you'd like to see us do a video on a certain topic, please let us know. Leave it in the comments. We read them all. So thanks for watching, guys. You good?
I'm good.
You're good.
Peace out.
Peace out. We'll see you in the next video.
See ya.